Hi, everybody. I'm Blayne Gilmer, and welcome to another edition of Bulldawg Illustrated's The Inside Slant. This week, we are talking about Tennessee, and I'm here with my co-host, Verrron Haynes. Verron, how you doing today?
Well, Blayne, can you imagine it's Tennessee week already?
Tennessee week.
Can't wait, brother.
Everybody knows that's a big week in the Haynes household because the lore that is going on in Georgia history with P44 Haynes up there in Knoxville in 2001, and we're probably gonna have a little something for you guys here later in the show revolving around that. So stick with us here till a little bit later. But right now, Verron, I just man, what a performance by Georgia against Auburn.
Absolutely, Blayne. They was lights out, man. I think they played really, really well. You saw a difference from the first week. And wait, no slouch, but now we go back and we were talking off the air and you could kind of see that did Georgia really play that bad? I mean, you win by over 25 points. I mean, did they really against a pretty good opponent in Arkansas? Now they come out and they put I thought that was the great performance and they put it all together.
Absolutely. You know, if Mississippi State at home goes out and, blows out Arkansas by 40 or something like that, then maybe it looks a little bit different and you're thinking, ooh, well, maybe it was but with the strong second half against Arkansas, and then I think I tweeted out during the game, I think right about the fourth quarter, I was like, this is the most dominant performance by a Georgia team in recent memory for me. Because, yeah, I mean, because not from start to finish, they just totally controlled the game. But,
watching the game, sorry, not to cut you off, but watching the game, it kind of reminded us of the time that, we were rolling and it was good to see. It was a lot of energy. To your point, the excitement was there, and it was like the old dogs of the past. They were kicking some butt up front.
Absolutely. Kind of it did remind you a little bit of that 2017 feel when Georgia had, Chubb just running like crazy through there. And of course they ended up playing for a national championship that year. But, as we look into it, there was definitely some reasons why that happened. We're going to do something here new this week, a new feature that we'll have each week. We're going to call it our Dog Bones. Verron, who are you going to give your dog bone helmet sticker to this week?
Well, mine goes to both. I can't just give one this week. It goes up front to the Hogs up front, to the big boys in the trenches, both on the offensive line and the defensive line. I thought that game collectively, that game was won up front on both sides of the ball.
Absolutely. Big Ben Cleveland wins SEC Lineman of the Week. He was just mauling people, him and Trey Hill, Justin Schaefer, all those three collectively in the middle. The tackles played good as well, but those three in the middle were absolutely road graders up there. And
absolutely.
Then as a running back, Verron, how much do you like seeing a Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, two defensive tackles, coming in and playing tight end and fullback on the goal line package?
Hey, man, dude, you're spoiling that's a spoiler alert what's to come, because we're going to go there later. We're going to see some good. Hey, man, when you get two tight ends and you're able to run the ball at ease and know that you're going to punch it in, you get the bigs in there. That's reassuring to and it's it's reassuring to offense, us as running back. But for defense, that's demoralizing, man. You're getting punched in the mouth.
Yeah, and they're throwing in an extra 600 pounds in there.
You're getting punched in the mouth, and not only are you doing that, man, you were getting punched in the mouth before, but now you're really getting it.
Absolutely. And you're right, that defensive front got after Bo Nix all night. I don't think people should discount Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is going to be a really good quarterback and a good player in the SEC. I mean, but Georgia
wasn't last Saturday, buddy. Not between the hedges.
Georgia just really got after him, kind of rattled him a little bit. So that Georgia defense, as advertised, I'm going to give my dog bone this week to Kearis Jackson. Everybody talks about George Pickens, of course, rightfully so. He'll probably be a first-round NFL draft pick when he comes out. He's that kind of talent, that kind of physical specimen. But Georgia needed someone to step up and be that consistent threat, and Kearis Jackson has done so here in 2020. He's actually on pace to be the first Georgia receiver since Terrence Edwards to go over 1,000-yard marker for the year through 2 games. He's over 200 yards right now. So things looking good for Kearis Jackson, the guy from Peach County down there. So real quick, Verron, before we go into our next segment here, want you to talk to us here about Vanquish Elite, the project and the charity that you work with. Tell us a little bit about Vanquish Elite.
So it's a nonprofit organization, 501c3. What we do, we like to go into cities and give back to the community, man. We start the organization's a Masonic group, and we were started to give back to widows and orphans, and that's what we do. We try to provide care, help, education for the underprivileged, and just do our part in giving back. And that's how we contribute. Last year, we was able to send 3 less fortunate kids to college who had it not been for Vanquish may not have gotten the opportunity, full rides to school.
Absolutely. So, and we'll put that all that information down in the description below. We'll put that on the comment section down there. VanquishElite.com. You'll be able to go see that. So check that out. Support Verron and the cause of him. Hines Ward, bunch of guys over there taking care of business and trying to help people out. So VanquishElite.com. That's where that'll be at. So Verron, next we're moving right into Tennessee week, like we said, previewing the Volunteers coming to Athens. So this edition looks a little bit different than the last couple of years. Tennessee, an improved team. They're 2-0, as is Georgia, in this all SEC gauntlet here. This COVID altered SEC schedule, but
right.
Wouldn't have it any other way, right? Two
Absolutely
programs.
Absolutely. You play. This is why you come to a SEC school, to play the best. And I think this gives you a great opportunity, especially for the program, to highlight why we are ranked the way we are, as high as we are. And we get to showcase our talent at a national level, and you play the best.
Absolutely. Georgia comes into this one a 14-point favorite out in Vegas. Those guys, they're not trying to lose money out there, so they must know something going on, right? But,
yeah, I honestly believe this game is very favorable, and for us, we don't alter the game plan too much. I don't see us doing that, but I think we build off of what you saw, the advance of first week to second week. Now everybody's just going to be comfortable, more familiarized with the system, and playing the camaraderie is going to be there. And I just think we put together a full, complete game, which you will see against Tennessee, but I don't think you alter it too much.
Absolutely. So, one thing about Tennessee, they have won 8 straight football games dating back to their South Carolina game last season. What's it like when you're facing a team that is just kind of on fire at the moment, a team that has that much momentum like Tennessee has?
Here's the reality. These boys, most of these guys grew up in the same area, same class. They know each other. SECs, all that goes out the door when you talk about this rival. That right there is hands down number one. That goes out the door. Friends, no, not until that clock hits 0-0 on the scoreboard. So you're gonna get a tough opponent right off the gate, and know that. Make no mistake about that, right? It's gonna be a dogfight. But I think the team that provides time of possession, that's one, and limit your turnovers, those two are going to be paramount in this game.
Absolutely. But like I said, being a guy who was part of that Georgia kind of turnaround, that kind of brought Georgia back. Tennessee's trying to do the same thing under Pruitt. They're trying to turn things around for them. So what's that kind of mindset for those guys as they come in, having won all those games in a row? I mean, they're going to come in confident, are they not?
They are. But that's why we have to jump on them early, a quick start. You got to take that confidence out of them and then keep pounding. You know how you kill a little gnat, a little fly? With a sledgehammer. You make sure he's dead. And that's what we got to do. You got to kill him and keep pounding him. Beat him just like we did, bring in those two tights down there on the goal line, and you run that football down their throat. You demoralize them. You take their hearts. And I think that's the game plan this week. You control the ball. You control the line of scrimmage with the bigs up front on both sides of the ball, just like we did last week, and you continue methodically moving that ball down the field, which we showed that we can do. And I think at the end of it, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. You don't alter that game plan, not one bit.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you talk about Georgia able to run the football, absolutely, Zamir White looked very good last week. But I think Kirby Smart was kind of planting, you know, how Kirby likes to play games with his own team, kind of mental motivation there. He was talking about how good Tennessee's offensive front is. You know, all those starters. You know, they got Trey Smith at left guard, who's going to be a first-round NFL guy. Cade Mays, who played at Georgia, very talented, very strong as well. Kirby Smart called him one of the toughest players he's coached. So they're going to be tough up front, but I think that's as much a challenge to the defensive front from Kirby. You know, kind of through the media type deal, playing kind of those head games, getting them motivated right there.
Well, you look at who he learned from. One of the greatest is playing games, right? You go up against Alabama, they're gonna tell you you're the best thing since sliced bread, and then they're gonna smack you in the mouth. So he's emulating the old Gipper himself, and that's what he's doing, man. But he's telling those guys in the locker room, you're gonna have to start. It's going to be a physical game. Make no mistake about that. And it's going to be in the trenches. This game, you're going to have to run the football and control that line of scrimmage. That's what it's going to come down to.
Absolutely. And, you know, you've got two good quarterbacks going into this one. Jarrett Garantano is playing very well for Tennessee, 33 of 54, so 61%, 449 yards passing. Stetson Bennett has comparable statistics. He's up over, 400 yards passing as well on the year, and has the second highest quarterback rating to anyone in the country other than Mac Jones. And
did he really say that? I know Georgia fans – I'm not what Georgia fans want. You are what Georgia fans need, brother.
Apparently, that's what he told Chris Fowler and Kurt Herbstreit kind of in the pregame talk, that he knew he wasn't maybe the popular choice, but I think he's got a lot of fans that a lot of people going to be wearing their mailman shirts and hats after that gets going on. But I think in terms of me for the keys to this game, I talk about those receivers. Tennessee's replacing Nigel Warrior on the back end at safety. A great player for Tennessee over the last 4 years, even though Tennessee hadn't, had the most results that they've wanted. Nigel Warrior from the Atlanta area, from Peachtree Ridge,
right down the road.
Tremendous safety for them. Really brought a lot of energy. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at on the back end to see what's going on. So we're going to get a quick commercial right here to talk once again about Vanquish Elite. This is Verrron Haynes' charity and project kind of that he works with. Guys, they help underprivileged kids be able to go to college. Guys that wouldn't normally have these kind of opportunities. Him, Hines Ward, a lot of people that are really supporting the community. They're giving back to underprivileged kids, to widows, to orphans. It's a great cause. So check out vanquishelite.com. We'll put all of the information in the comments underneath, and really want to, help out Verrron, donate, talk, anything you can do to help out with Vanquish Elite. I'm sure you can reach out to Verrron on Twitter, all that kind of stuff. He'd be happy to talk to you about Vanquish Elite.
We have a website, and you can make your donations right there too.
Absolutely. And we'll put the URL down below. But right now we have a little special treat for you, as this is Tennessee week, and Verrron Haynes, has a big moment that he had. We're going to welcome another guest in here, Mr. Randy McMichael.
Hey, what's happening?
How's it going?
What's going on, man? I'm good, man. I'm good, dog. You know, Verrron, I'd be like, it's 8:00. I got something to do tonight. I'm glad you texted me, dog. I almost forgot, man. But I ain't gonna never leave my boy hanging, man. What's going on, baby?
Everything is good, man. Good to see you, man.
Good to see you too, man.
Congratulations on how phenomenal of job you are doing on the air, man. You have me rolling. Let me tell you, rolling.
Well, the biggest thing is I ain't got fired yet for cursing. I think when my mama and my wife, my kids, they listen, they're like, "Well, Daddy, how is it that you curse all the time?" Because I like to cuss, but you don't cuss on the air. And I'm like, Daddy gotta feed y'all. I mean, I do think about y'all most of the time. But man, I appreciate it, family. You know that, brother, man. I appreciate it coming from you.
Absolutely.
Randy, we really appreciate you joining us here. Wanted to talk about a special moment that you guys had back in, this is Tennessee week.
Yeah, so it is.
2001. We're talking about the Hobnail Boot game, but Verron was one of the first ones that when I said, "Hey, we need to talk about that on the show," he said, "Well, we need to give a little bit of credit to the guy who got us down the field there."
He don't let me live it down, Blayne. I'm telling you now.
All right. So, me and V been boys. We grew up. We became men together. I go back a long time when I first met Verron, and he was at a bus stop on campus. And me and the boys, we were on the bus. We were on the bus, like going back to the door. Like, man, who this cat over here in the middle of July with some Timberlands and some damn jeans on in Georgia?
Stop it!
And so we got a chance to know each other. Me and them grow really close together. And I just remember going to that game. Coach Rick and because remember the weekend before was the makeup game against Arkansas because of 9/11. And I remember playing that game in Arkansas, and I think I had my best game at Georgia. And I just remember being excited going to Tennessee. And I remember two things happened at pregame. One was Coach Rick said, "I almost made you captain, but I can't make you captain this week, and you're not starting this week." After I come off my best game, and so I was hot. I was hot.
Let the punches keep on rolling.
I was hot. And so, as the game went on, some stuff happened and I ended up being the guy and did my thing. But, I just remember, and it was so crazy. The game was on last month and I'm doing the show here and it was on the TV. So I'm sitting there watching it and I'm looking at V and V catches a little flat route. Like nobody knew who 35 was. And V catches this flat route, goes like 30 yards. And basically everybody's like, who's that running with the football? And so nobody knew who Verron was. Right. And so, once, he gets that and we get in the groove and everything, I catch a pass. First person to come congratulate me is 35. And, it was cool. But, we score. We're like, okay. Oh, yeah. Then our best friend, Flip, catches the interception. Game over. All we got to do is get one first down. What's the hardest thing in the world to do? Get a first down when they know you need the first down. Yep. So we go 3 and out, punt it to them. And Travis Stevens. And I don't know if Verron's ever said this. I've never been in a stadium that loud before ever. The Gatorade cups fell off the table. It was like a mini earthquake. So we're sitting there, we're like, okay. We're like nobody. But the thing about it was, V, none of us blinked the eye. Like, no. All right, cool. No. So I don't know what Coach Farmer was doing. So he squibs it, and luckily I'm one of the upbacks. I catch it and slide. My guy. And I slide, and so I'm like, okay. He calls a was a little shake route to Damon Garrett. He shakes, moves. Ooh, David Green,
sweet feet.
We go sprint right with a left-handed quarterback for some reason. David throws in the ground.
Man, you're airing it out. Go ahead, baby.
And then we ran past 44 Demon, which is the one I caught over the middle. And then we went switch after that. And I catch another one. So we're sitting there. And it's
no. Don't underplay it, man. You catch it in traffic, one-handed.
But the crazy thing is, like, my boy, Dominic Stevens, who's a linebacker, he was like, man, I was going to take. I said, why didn't you? I didn't think you caught it. I said, me neither. I just thought the ball hit my rib. I was like, ooh, I got it. And so we're down there, and I'll never forget, call timeout, go to the sideline. And you can see it actually on the TV camera. Coach Pierce, who was a running back coach at the time, he's calling McMichael, which is a play that we run. I run a flood route to the flat. And Coach Rich, he's holding his mic and he's like, no. And then he grabs Greeny, and then they tell me to come out. I'm like, oh, no, I'm real hot. But then they tell me to play. They tell me to play. They tell me to play. I'm like, oh, this going to work. Oh, this going to work. And then, like, as soon as the play, it's like slow motion. You see V sneak through. You see Dominique and them pull up, and you just see V back there. Now, V ain't got the best hands in the world.
Oh, stop it.
Because you can tell by the picture, he didn't have the full.
I almost dropped it. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie.
He didn't have a full diamond. You know, he caught it like and it was it was one of those things where, they always say good things happen to good people. And one thing I know about V, we've been, like I said, we've been through some stuff together, but my man's always been just one of the hard-working people. And you saw that throughout that whole season. When folks got hurt, we had no damn running backs. You give Verrron the go. We go down to Ole Miss after our boy, one of our favorite teammates, David Jacobs, has a stroke that week in practice, and V runs for like 300 yards. And follows it up. I mean, just like I said, good things happen to good people, man. And, that was one of the things. But, yeah, that play past 44 Haynes, it will be – I don't know if it's going to be like Run, Lindsey, Run or Herschel in Tennessee. But, damn, I mean –
that's the big shoes to follow.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think that's all generational a little bit, because I'll just be honest with you, like I turned 30 years old this year. One of my first memories of Georgia football is jumping up and down, hearing Larry Munson on the radio. I wasn't able to watch it. We were in the car, and hearing Larry Munson call out Verron's name on the radio, I get goosebumps just thinking about it today. It was one of my first football memories.
I know what's going to happen in the play, and I still when I watch it, I still get nervous, right? But thank you for all that you said, Randy. But do you understand? Did you know that Larry Munson, the late great Larry Munson, did not know what a hobnail boot was?
No.
So he's getting interviewed in Tennessee in the locker room. He's smoking a cigar, and the broadcaster asked him, "Well, Mr. Munson, do you know what is a hobnail boot?" He said, "The hell if I know."
He just said it.
It was just his legendary commentating, man. His commentary was impeccable. Like he was made for this.
Yeah, he was the greatest, man. I still remember the first time I've had a conversation with Mr. Munson. We were going to Vanderbilt on the plane, and I remember I went back to him and just introduced myself, and I was like, "Mr. Munson, I'm gonna make you call my name today. And it's not going to be it's not going to be for something me doing something bad." And I remember I caught like a tip pass and I dove in the end zone, and I never heard the call, but I remember getting on the plane and I went back to see Mr. Munson, and he said, "I called your name, son. I'm glad it wasn't bad." And so, that was always one of the greatest things, but yeah, this week has always been special. V, you remember, and we were talking about it on the show today about when we beat Tennessee at home that night. And the fans stormed the daggone field before the game was over.
The goalpost goes downtown.
And we're trying to fight. The game's not over.
Right.
Get off the field. And so it's a special rivalry that we have, considering what we're going on in 2020. We're looking forward to this game. But, the Hobnail Boot game, I tell people, and people always say that Verron always mentions me. I don't ever mention me. All right. Verron knows. Everybody knows that.
I know you got him down there.
Hey, man. Mailman delivered that day, baby. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. Hey, Randy Mack catches some real critical passes at some pivotal times.
But we always looked out for each other. Man, V, they used to always try to do my boy wrong, man, on the fullback.
I got to give you credit.
On
my
the 1
first ever touchdown ever for Georgia came because of him. He refused to call the switcheroo.
Yeah, I'm like, hold on. We're in the 1 yard line. We've been blocking his butt off all game, and y'all gonna move in or tail back and let somebody? I said no. So I ran the huddle. Like, hey, y'all don't switch. 32 belly.
Get in.
You better damn score.
You better get in the goddamn. Sorry.
You better score because it's on me. I don't want to hear
like this is the real conversations that go on between Mac and I on during the huddle. Crazy.
That's the first thing I said. V, you better damn score. All right. Because he was surprised. Hey, V, you better damn score. And so we're jumping up and down. And I still have this gash scar in my leg from us celebrating and these cleats coming down on my shin and taking a gash out of my leg.
Nothing like it, baby. Scoring between the hedges for the first time.
That was the funniest thing in the world. I was like, B,
yeah.
you better score. All right,
yeah,
because I just
Arkansas. It was Arkansas.
Yeah. V, I just came out here and changed this damn play, V. You better score.
Yeah. Hey, so you started the whole golly, you just brought me back, bro. You started that whole movement.
Hey man,
that whole it trickled down, man. Man, you know the next kid is gonna be Randy Mac, man. Dog,
but the thing about it is,
I gotta give you that. Too bad she said she's not having no more.
Carrie, well, I mean, we can work on Carrie. We can work on Carrie, you know. But no, I don't deserve no credit. We were, like I said, you were that. We like. I know this dude got to play ball. I'm telling you, this is how he was walking around campus with, and everybody. Obviously, we're in Georgia. Everybody know how hot it is in Georgia in July.
Man, I just moved from New York.
He got on jeans and Timberlands walking around.
I just moved from New York,
University of Georgia.
Me and Rob B, son,
with no sweat towel.
Me and Rob B.
Yeah, man.
Hey, all I'm gonna say is shout out to JV and his duck feather comments.
Yeah,
we're gonna keep that off the
we gonna like I said, we can't have all the comments.
We had some fun, man. Hey, but tell me this, Randy. Like when you see those boys play, isn't it kind of like the old, like the energy that was electrifying out there last week? Man, they were flying around making plays. And I think honestly, this pandemic really brought everybody together. You know, you couldn't really have your cliques doing your own thing. Like we had that cohesive bond, and that's what you saw out there. In my opinion, they were playing for each other.
You know, the one thing about sports, team sports, is that there's a brotherhood, and I know it's overused, but you know, once you leave the game, and I look at this more from college than in the pros. Like I got still some of my partners that I'm cool with that, you know, I played pro ball with. But like y'all, my boys at Georgia, like y'all are my brothers. You know, it's like it's a family because the thing about it is we all grew up together. We were all wet behind the ears teenagers. You know,
did we have $1 in our pocket,
bro? But the thing about
it, you couldn't tell.
You couldn't tell. And the thing about it is, if we all had $1 a piece, it'd probably been 10 of us. We had $10. Go get a bottle of that Gilmer.
Oh, that rock gut. That make your heart hurt, bro.
Yeah. But we all go get a bottle. We gonna share. I mean, it was always a thing where what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. When we look at each other,
we did not miss a 21st birthday party
ever.
Everybody was on deck for your birthday, and we celebrated. We might not have made it to practice the next day. I'm not gonna mention no names who was on the ball.
I ain't gonna tell nobody either, man. You know, but the thing about it was, I found the pictures.
You keep those to yourself, bro.
Man.
We married,
but it's crazy, man. Because I tell them, we like the brotherhood that we have. Like we know each other. Like when I saw Taylor and them, like I remember Taylor when Taylor was born. I remember Jordan when Jordan was born, like at the hospital. And so, you know, but when I look at this Georgia team, man, they are a national championship team everywhere except for quarterback because we don't know what Stetson Bennett is. Running backs, that defense, come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man. But tell me this, Randy. Do you really have to know what the quarterback position is going to do when you're winning the upfront battles?
Yeah,
on both sides of the ball.
But see, this is the only reason.
Because hold on, one second. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
We saw a glimpse of somebody who I would like to see some more running that tater. That Milton.
Dude, he's nice. He's nice.
I think he's gonna give you a different kind of flavor. He's like a complete running back. Now, no knock on the other two that we got because they're great.
Right.
Now, Zeus, Cook. Hands down, they complement each other.
Right.
But I think when Milton gets 20 carries behind that line.
Right. I love Milton. I'm a big James Cook fan. I've always been a big James Cook fan. But he showed me some, dog. And when you talk about the war, see, the only thing about that is this. When we talk about the battle up front, all the top teams can pound away with us. Clemson can do it. Ohio State can do it. Bama can do it. But the thing with all three of those guys, especially Clemson and Ohio State, they got Heisman type winning quarterbacks. I think Mac's cool down there in Alabama, We just got to figure it out with Stetson. And it's still early. Not saying that, you know, and the one thing I love about Stetson, I love his story. How can you not love this story?
Blue collar?
Stetson,
give me a blue collar kind of a kind of walk on kind of guy in the day. You know, he kind of remind me of somebody.
Hey, Stetson looked like he's like one of them Ascot guys. Stetson, I'm Stetson Bennett the fourth. You know what I'm saying?
That was until he threw the hog nut in there at the end after the game.
Bruh, I was like, dude, I like this guy. When he put that dip in, I was like, oh yeah.
That's Randy all day long now. You know, that's Randy all day long. No, hey, man, you ever play golf with this guy, man? Hey, as long as you come with a can and a bottle, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine.
Because think about golf and what Verron is. Verron's a poser, and here's why. Verron Verron look like he can play. Got the nice cap. He got the little coin things where you put down where you place the ball. He got the little diggy out thing and all that stuff. Nice glove. Everything. BB sharp.
Okay.
Man, please.
Okay.
Man,
okay.
Please.
All I know is in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to shout out to Robert Edwards and all the great things that his foundation is doing.
Right.
But in a couple of weeks,
okay,
I'm going to get the information, Blayne, but because we're going to advertise Roberts. We're going to come back on this show and we're going to see who we're going to divvy up all that money that I'm going to get out of Randy's pockets.
See, what happened was I was beating you, and then like,
it was 5 o'clock. It was 5 o'clock at 10. At 10.
That's what happened. I was seeing 3 greens. I ain't gonna lie. I was seeing 3 greens, man.
Hey, that's all I'm gonna say. Hey, I'm gonna keep pouring them for you because I'm gonna tax you.
Yeah, you
better come with the 10s.
Yeah. All right, no problem.
Randy, we certainly appreciate it. I just wanted to ask you, before we kind of let you get out of here, you were talking about that quarterback position. When do you kind of know, because you guys kind of experienced it when David Green kind of came onto the scene? Not necessarily David Green. Let's face it, not the most talented, athlete and arm talent and all that kind of stuff. But when do you know a guy's got it that can lead?
I think it's more the things that he doesn't do on the field. I think it's the locker room. And then when you talk, like we had Shock on this morning, and the thing that Shock said was that he's one of the guys. And that was how we looked at David Green as one of the guys, and that's not saying that because Sean Jones, we love Sean Jones. Sean Jones went drafted as safety. And it's Corey Phillips, and we love Corey Phillips. But Greeny was just one of the guys. That's why when he got the job, we weren't surprised. We're like, all right, let roll. And I think that's when you talk to players about Stetson, that's what he has. It's like, we love DeJuan Mathis, but Stetson makes us believe that we can win. Not saying that DeJuan is not going to be a great player, but right now, I think Stetson has earned that right, to be the starting quarterback at Georgia right now.
And I'll tell you one thing too. It doesn't have to be all the arm strength and stuff.
No, it doesn't.
You control you like Randy said, a Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow didn't have all that, but guess what? He was a winner.
Right.
He was a winner. And he knew how to get the job done. And you win with your guys, your troops. You command them. You find a way to win. Not to mention Florida on this Gator. No Gators on this dog show, but
who's the damn Gator?
No, I'm just saying.
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. But he's a winner. He's a winner. He's a proven winner. And whatever philosophy works for you, as long as you win the locker room,
that's all that matters.
Hands down.
Definitely saw that how happy the guys were for Stetson after the game when interviews and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, no knock against Jake Fromm, because Jake Fromm did some tremendous stuff for the University of Georgia. But that play on that first third down when Big Cat Bryant came unblocked and Stetson Bennett reverses out and is able to get out and throw across his body to Kieris on the sideline.
Hope Valley.
That's talent.
Yeah, that's his boy. That's his boy. That's his boy. He will shout them out down there.
Yes, I will. I'm always going to talk about my Peach Cutter. Was so happy.
Hey, him, Jacquez, all y'all boys.
I went to high school with Kyrie's mom, so that's why I've been knowing. Yeah, so I'm so happy for that young man. But the thing with it is that it's still early in the season. This is going to be a big test, but I like this squad. And I like it because it seems to me like you're not being talked about. You're not being, yeah, we're highly ranked, but okay, they got Stetson being the quarterback. We'll wait for him to mess it up. And to me, I mean, we'll see this weekend though. It's a big test. Tennessee's playing really well. They got that O-line V and Blayne, that O-line Tennessee got with Cade Mays now. Yeah. And Eric Gray running that football.
But that goes out the that goes out the door. That goes out the door, Randy, because we grew up. You was at Peach County. I was here. Jasper, Jamal. It's all the same. That goes out the door when that clock, when that whistle tee off.
I hear you, man.
We're gonna punch. We're gonna see. We're gonna see.
Obviously, Verron's all in the dogs this weekend. 14-point favorite. Right before you get out of here, we want to get you give us a score prediction, Randy, if you could, right before you go.
Oh, I'm gonna go 31-17.
So you going right at the Vegas? Right at the Vegas line.
Yeah, man. I'm going 31-17. Yeah,
31-17. Verron, what you got?
Hey man, I can't knock that. I just think, that sounds like a perfect number. That's when we turned the corner against Florida too. That was the score, 31-17. So let's ride that. Let's ride. You remember that?
Yeah.
31-17.
I think if Tennessee scores 17 points, they are unbelievably better than I thought they were. That farther ahead than they are, than I think they are. I think they don't get past 10 points. I'm going to say Georgia 28, Tennessee 10.
All right, Blayne.
So, Randy Mack, thank you so much, guys. Listen to him on his radio show. And Verron on Vanquish Elite.
I love you, bro. You know anything, man. Too, man. All right, fam. That'll be easy.
Thank you, Randy. All right, Verron. So we appreciate you helping us line up Randy Mack there, talking about the Hobnail Boot game. It's been a great week. We've recapped that Auburn game. We talked about what they did so good in that game. Georgia highlighted Tennessee for you. So Verron, the next time you'll be with us, I think we got Kentucky after that 2 weeks from now. So I'll be with you.
Not just that. Ask me. I want the first question out of your mouth. How much money I took from him, and
Absolutely.
That's it. And did I kick his butt?
Find out how the golf game went between Verron and Randy Mack. So next week we'll be with Tavares King talking Alabama. But Verron, thank you so much for joining me, man. I'm gonna got another special guest coming on right here after you. I'm gonna get on the phone with him. But man, I appreciate you so much, and I'll be talking to you here soon.
Wear him out. All right, be easy, Blayne. Thank you.
All right, and now after that great talk we had with Randy McMichael and Verrron Haynes on the Hobnail Boot game, we are here with 24/7 Sports Rusty Mansell. Rusty, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. Makes me feel old when you start talking about Verrron Haynes and we're covering his kid now. So
he's a heck of an athlete too, isn't he?
He's a really good player. I saw him 2 weeks ago. He played Cal. He had 5 touchdowns against I tell you what he had, I didn't know. Obviously had a really good freshman year. He was MVP of the Adidas Freshman All-American game down in Naples I was at last year, but I didn't really know he had that extra year. And I don't know if you follow the site Recruiting Analytics, a really good site. You can see it proved now. They do the GPS tracker, and Justice Haynes, his son, is a 2023 tailback at Blessed Trinity, actually hit 21.5, I believe.
And that's fine.
That is flying. The average high school running back that is a P5 signee is around 19.6.
He can go.
He's 2 mile an hour faster on that so far. So we'll see where it goes. But he is a really good player, and I know Verron is extremely proud of him.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. They've raised a fine young man as well, and they're in Justice. And I know, I don't know if the offer's actually, officially on the table with Georgia yet or not, but I can only imagine it'd be coming, as a lot of people are highly interested in Justice Haynes. But wanted to get with you real quick. It's Tennessee week. A lot of people are talking up this game for a lot of reasons. You got the whole Cade Mays drama, him and his dad and pinkies and folding chairs and all kinds of mess going on. But this game is really going to have a lot to do with Cade Mays, not only Tennessee's front but Georgia's front as well, is it not?
Yeah, when you look at, I've kind of been digging in this matchup a little bit, and this time last week around Tuesday, I'd gotten a really good look at Auburn, and I had talked to a couple of people. I actually talked to an NFL scout, and really behind the scenes, I can say this now because luckily I was right and said it on a couple of podcasts on our Georgia site, on 24/7 Sports. I just didn't feel like the matchup was there for Auburn. I didn't know how Auburn would score. I know they were going to make big plays. They were not going to drive the ball. I didn't feel like they could, drive the ball on Georgia. They were going to need a turnover here and a big play here to generate some points, and they just couldn't do it. But as I look into this Tennessee game, I think if Tennessee can find a way to run the ball, and they're going to try. They're not going to abandon it. Jim Chaney is a guy that is, he's all about physicality. And I guarantee you this right now, they are challenging their guys. That is all they're hearing all week long is how good Georgia's defense is. Every clip that, every article, everything that No Telling all of us have wrote, ESPN stuff, they're going to shove it down those offensive linemen's throats all week because I personally know Jim. I know how he, he's a very good motivator, and he wants to run the ball. And, if Tennessee can run the ball, this thing is going to be a four-quarter game. If they cannot run the ball, then that's where I can see, you're talking about a 13, 14-point spread and how things can kind of get away from you. But it's going to be one key to me. It's going to be, can Tennessee run the ball against Georgia and generate some points?
And that's going to be tough sledding because Rusty, nobody's really ran the ball in Georgia the last 2 years. I mean, it's been this Georgia run defense has been historically good. And, when we talk about the playmakers for Tennessee, at some point they're going to try to run that ball. Like you said, they're going to try to establish it, but they're going to have some success through the air. And they're really replacing a lot this year with Marquez Callaway and Juwan Jennings having graduated. Do they have anybody that can kind of give the Georgia secondary some trouble out there, you think?
I think you're going to have to guys step up. Obviously, a guy that me and you're probably familiar with is Mel Keaton, a young man out of Marietta High School who's a 6'2", wiry kid, big, long target. They're going to try to get the ball in space to their playmakers, their running backs out of space a little bit. But, they really don't, like I said, if they get into a situation where they're trying to have their guys, be successful against Georgia's secondary, it's just that's not the way to do it. I mean, the only chance I think Tennessee has is to be able to run the ball, and they're going to try, and we're going to find out. Obviously, they got a really good offensive line, but if Georgia shuts down the run, I just can't see Tennessee's guys making plays, enough. I mean, you look at Seth Williams last week, who was a big-time playmaker, and he made some plays, but eventually he got shut down, and Auburn was even in more trouble. So you're not going to make a lot of hay if you're depending on winning one-on-one battles with Georgia's secondary right now. I think you got to try to go good on good, and what Tennessee got and what Tennessee has is a really good offensive line. I don't think they can game plan thinking that we're going to take a bunch of shots down the field and let our guys make plays because Tyson Campbell and DJ Daniels and Eric Stokes and Richard LeCount, who will be back, and Lewis Steen and Mark Webb and Tyree Stevenson. Those guys are big, and they all can run.
Absolutely. And one matchup that I'm kind of looking forward to myself in terms of Tennessee's defense against Georgia's offense. Tennessee lost a very good player last year, Nigel Warrior, a safety from Peachtree Ridge, who was kind of that glue guy, right, for Tennessee's secondary. Jalen McCullough replaces him, but he's going to be matched up probably a lot on either Kearis Jackson or Jermaine Burton. You've covered, both of them closely all through high school up. How do you see the progression of the guys other than George Pickens, of course, going on for Georgia's receiving corps right now?
A lot of people don't realize this about Kearis. Kearis almost won the state in 100. He won it in shot put and distance, which was crazy. But Kearis he was a 10-7 100-meter guy. So, you look at him getting in behind Auburn secondary, and I think he just kind of was the forgotten man a little bit. He's been kind of banged up here and there. The one thing I'll tell you about him, man, playing at Peach County for Chad Campbell, and that staff, that is a tough kid. I mean, he knows nothing but to practice hard. He got pushed hard in high school. Track kid, like I said, won the state, I think, in shot and disc, and almost won it, in the 100. I mean, I know he's a 10-700 guy, so he can flat out go. Jermaine Burton, incredible ball skills. I think Jermaine Burton, you see Kirby kind of get on to him a little bit on the sideline tonight, and I heard he, against Arkansas, he didn't grade out too well. He's going to start getting more and more comfortable in the game, knowing what's going on, those types of things. So, I think I certainly think, no matter what, that Georgia is going to target George Pickens more, because good things happen when he gets the ball. I don't care if they're double teaming him. He just makes plays, and I think he's going to be more the game plan going forward. I mean, look, Georgia's learning too with Stetson Bennett. They can say all they want to, but, really they only have 6 quarters with Stetson Bennett. So you have to go back and get your sample size. Todd Monken looks at it and says, okay, this is the plays that Stetson really likes. This is the plays that George likes. Here, let's take advantage of this. And they did it on a touchdown the other night. The touchdown in the corner on the basically a go route with Pickens, but it was a great situation, a great play call from Todd Monken, because you'll see he gave motion from the back. James Cook motioned away toward the sideline. He gave a little eye candy, got the safety off the hash just enough to where he couldn't help, and then went one-on-one with George Pickens. I think you're going to see more of that with Georgia, to where they can manipulate the defensive formation to get George Pickens in more one-on-one situations.
Absolutely. We're here on the phone with Rusty Mansell, 24/7 Sports. Also, you can find Rusty over on the Junkyard podcast with Jake Rowe and Kip Adams over there of 24/7 Sports as well. They do a great job with that. Rusty, right before we get you out of here, man, one thing that I wrote about this week is this game during this COVID time also has major recruiting implications, because they programs cannot have kids on campus right now. They can't be doing visits and stuff like that. So your product on the field is really what kind of speaks for you right now. And Georgia has Amarius Mims, Nyland Green, a bunch of guys, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, who all are kind of between Georgia and Tennessee right now. So how big is this game in terms of recruitment?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I'm actually in North Carolina right now. I'm going to see some kids tomorrow, and also exploring the possibility of doing an MVP camp. Well, on the way up today, I was able to stop by Gaffney High School, watch practice, and actually talk to Tyron Ingram Dawkins. I'll tell you this. That young man is 6'3", 240 a year and a half ago. He is every ounce of 6'5" right now. It's crazy. I didn't know what to believe how big he was, but
and over 300 pounds.
This kid is a big dude now. I was very, very surprised when he came walking out for practice. Gaffney had a big win over Dorman, South Carolina. It was funny because you forget these are high school kids. They beat the number 1 team, or one of their biggest rivalries. So they had the snow cone guy came out to practice today. So they were all excited. Here's a bunch of kids that are major college prospects, and the slushy guy pulls up and the team goes crazy. So that was a fun deal. But the interesting note today, I made a note on 24/7 Sports here about an hour ago, Tyron Ingram Dawkins told me him and his family is actually going to the game this weekend. So they have their own tickets. They're going to sit in the stands and watch the game. And he told me, Tennessee, South Carolina, and Georgia are all in this thing. And this would be a great opportunity for him to see 2 teams compete against each other. I don't put a ton in the history, 12 years I've been doing this, I don't put a ton of stock. I think fans sometimes put too much into a win and a loss, but I'll tell you this, and not to sugarcoat anything, this is a big one. This is a big game for a lot of reasons. This one really could sway 1 or 2 major targets. If Georgia were to
maybe a 6'8", 320 pound target,
something like that. And, a 6'5" defensive tackle today, a corner out of Newton, and there's some big battle. A 5-star linebacker out of Paulding County. I mean,
absolutely,
there's big guys involved. I'm telling you that if Tennessee were to upset Georgia, they very well could lose a couple major targets of this. If Georgia were to say win or handle Tennessee by chance, I think that it's a big advantage to the team that wins it. There's a lot of eyes on this game this weekend, and I'll say this is one of those games for real, that these kids are paying attention. This is a lot riding on this game.
Absolutely. Tennessee coming in, having won 8 games in a row. One note about that, Rusty, that I think is kind of interesting is that none of those games have been against ranked opponents. So this is going to be kind of Tennessee's first true test of that momentum they've got going. And of course, Kirby wants to come out and, play his style of ball, Georgia ball every week. So it'll be an interesting matchup. And Rusty, we really appreciate you kind of jumping on here and previewing it with us.
Man, I appreciate it. And I just, it's funny. I was in Athens about 2 weeks ago and stopped at one of the stores over there, and I was checking out or whatever. And there was a Bulldawg. You know what? I was at Loco's eating.
Okay.
There was a Bulldawg Illustrated stack of them right there. So I picked one up and thumbed through it while I was having dinner. And man, it's still a great magazine and still fun to read those things.
We appreciate it. Thank you so much, Rusty. Guys, that was Rusty Mansell joining us from 24/7 Sports. Like I said, you can hear him on the Junkyard Podcast with Jake Rowe and Kip Adams over there on 24/7 Sports. Guys, go check them out. They do a great job. I know many of you follow them already. So thank you so much for joining us here on Bulldawg Illustrated, the Inside Slant Tennessee edition. We had a great time talking to Randy McMichael and Verrron Haynes, and we will catch you next week with Tavares King as we break down the big one, Alabama, after this Tennessee game. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next week.